Oh, shit. There it comes. Another U62X terrible podcast from Thomas. Oh, yes, we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Not live from U62X at St. John Studios. Yes, I'm your host, Thomas, and I gave my good introduction on the last take of trying to do this video. Yeah. So you might be wondering why I brought you here on this eve of April, but I'm drinking not tea, and it's not Earl Grey, and it's definitely not hot. But I came here to talk about, of all things, a scene breakdown of one of my new favorite movies, and then one of my least favorite TV shows. So kind of juxtaposing the two against each other, and then also like finding positives and things that I would fix from Star Trek Picard as I would have done it. Again, it's easy to be the armchair quarterback, or in this case, the armchair nerd that sits in his fucking bedroom and makes jokes and stupid YouTube videos. Anyway, yeah, but let's not mince too many words too quickly. I just wanted to talk about one of my new favorite movies, Once Upon a Time in the West. It's a Sergio Leone movie, who you might recognize as the person who did all the spaghetti westerns and the what do they call it? The Fistful of Dollars, Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and A Fist More Full of Dollars, or something like this. But he did a deconstructing the Western genre movie of Once Upon a Time in the West in 1968. And there's a great scene in it. And again, the two clips that I'm going to play today are one from Once Upon a Time in the West, and then one from the 2020 released Star Trek Picard. And I think when you compare the two, and again, genre bending and like they're not the same, but I guess one is good and then one is quite possibly terrible. And I actually got criticized from a friend of mine for being too negative recently. He really was like, Thomas, you really should be more, it's like you're just being a critic. And I'm like, yeah, I'll give credit where credit is due, but I guess the problem I'm having with like being I guess, yeah, I'm being negative because I don't like it, but I guess it's like when your favorite band releases a bad record, that's a bad day. When your favorite genre, like imagine if like most bands don't have a career that lasts 25 years. Imagine if like ZZ Top released, an Angry Birds soundtrack. I don't even know. Maybe that's a bad analogy, but I mean, that's the best I got at this point. But anyway, so let's start with a clip from one of my new favorite movies. The scene that I'm about to set up on a hit play before we start. There's Mrs. McBain, who is a widow, talking to a barkeep. They're on their way to her land that her husband just got killed over, and they're in a bar. It's two people talking in a bar. We don't know many more things about it. Charles Bronson is the main character of this movie, who shows up as a harmonica player, but he is the main character of the story. One of the main characters of the story. I'd say Mrs. McBain and Charles Bronson are the two main characters. There's another big character that shows up. But yeah, anyway, this is the clip for Once Upon a Time in the West. I'll hit play and then see if I can get it.
New Orleans!
You've been there?
No. But I got a cousin down there. She runs a bar.
Also, what I love about that scene, number one, and this is going to be a theme, is the story of the scene is told through the eyes of the character in the scene, and their reactions to it. You saw just the random drunkard sipping with a cup. Again, we don't know who this character that's about to enter. Again, the even just the look of concern on his face. Also, just the tension built with, and just no story has been told. We don't know who this person is from anybody. So what I love about that scene is and just a quick breakdown, like what you're about to see in this next scene is the fact that he walks in, they don't know who he is, but he doesn't know what's happening in that room, and the director carefully made a point to show that. And I think that it's just like a little, and again, like one of my favorite quotes from the Red Light Immunity guys is, "You may not notice it, but your brain did." And in this movie, or in this short little like act of this whole, the preamble would have been the barmaid or Mrs. McBain and the bartender talking. Act one is this act of him walking into the bar and just like looking around and seeing what's going on. It's brilliant, brilliant. And also, again, master of lighting, master of angles, of showing reactions. So brilliant. Yeah, he's, again, the direction for, he's just as nervous as they are in a sense. And we don't even know the twist yet. We know that there's a little apprehension from him. He walks in.
Jug.
Also, one thing I always love, once it was pointed out to me, was like there's no small roles, or sorry, there's no small parts. There's no, I can't remember. Basically, the Hollywood expression, there's no small parts, no small roles. Anyway, just there's like the economy of every little tiny character like builds the bigger narrative of the movie. Like that. I mean, I don't know who that. Nobody knows off the top of their head who the actor was that played the random dude in the bar. But what I mean to say by that is, like, that being a very well acted moment of the movie builds to a bigger moment. But I continue. Here comes a big reveal. The director has not revealed his secret with who this character is and what this tension means. Takes it. It's at this moment, of course, he zooms in and you realize he's handcuffed. And then also at the same time, the main character, whose name in the movie is Harmonica, starts playing. Oh my gosh, the scene is so good. It's a shadowy figure from afar. We don't know who he is. The audience knows who he is, but he doesn't know who he is, and we're in his head. We're in his head now. He's like, who is this person, and what the fuck are they doing over there? Is he friend? Is he foe? Who is this person? Also shot when they first see each other, they're on like an eye-to-eye level. And again, we don't know, as the audience, also who exactly this character is. We don't know who person A is and who exactly person B is. We just know it's two people staring down each other. And then you can tell you're in the bearded gentleman's head, Cheyenne. Let's just call him Cheyenne, it's fine. We're in Cheyenne's head because we're like, he doesn't know who this person is. And so he's like, is he a threat? Is he not? We don't know. And so there's that tension that builds.
You only know
Mind
how
you,
to play.
yeah, no
Or do
dialogue.
you know how to shoot? You know how to blow music from that?
Oh my God. Also, just a gesture, small gesture. I'm not going to play your game.
I get up.
What lighting too? Darkness, lightness, in a very interesting lit scene. So brilliant. He picks it up all fucked up. Even saying, I'm going to do what you say, but I'm going to do it a little bit differently. And then Han Solo over here.
You! You don't know how to play.
So, what can we take from this scene so far? And the key is playing in the background as Cheyenne pulls his gun out and walks over to Han Solo. Basically, long story short, he gets him to basically stand up and do a power play of basically like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot you in the face if you don't shoot these cuffs off of me. And so, and what's interesting about it is, again, like the close-ups, the fear on the man's face, the fear in both Cheyenne's face. Like, it's very interestingly shown. I guess I can show it now. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I might
Take it.
I don't know how the rules work on YouTube, so I'm just doing this because I like to do things like this. So, anyway. But here we go. He picks the gun up, and one of my favorite twists, like, you, as the audience, you don't know what's going to happen. You know, I'm telling you things, but as when I first watch this, I don't know what's going to happen. Is he going to shoot him? Is he going to shoot him? So there's two options that could happen right here. And we, as the audience, don't know. Is he going to shoot him? Is he going to shoot him? Is anybody going to shoot anybody? We don't know. And again, that fucking audience not knowing is fucking like you don't know what's going to happen. And that creates anxiety. Puts the gun to his head. All the while, again, observing from afar. Yeah. Dude. Oh my gosh. Economy. And what's also what rewatch that scene. It's interesting is that Cheyenne doesn't know if he's got shot. He's startled as well. Oh my God. So brilliant. So tense. Like, what's gonna happen? I don't know. And then Cheyenne's men show up. So that's basically that scene. It goes on from there. There's a few more moments of tenseness, but that's basically the gist of that scene, which I saw that and I was just like, very, 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 like, just that scene, and then the opening scene of Once Upon a Time in the West, bar none, were some of the best cinema that I've seen in a while, short of Breaking Bad or Call Saul. But yes, let's get to my next least favorite scene from. Hold on. I gotta get some more tea, Earl Grey for this video. I have a nice Chateau Picard. It's a Malbec from the Chateau of Picard. Yes. No, not really. No, it's actually, yeah. Anyway, it's the arguably this show is one of the biggest disappointments of my. I'm trying to think of a bigger disappointment. I'd say one of the biggest disappointments in my life was Christmas in 1987. I didn't have one. My parents were having marital problems and then also what was it? It was marital problems and also professional problems. That was one of the biggest disappointments. I would say there's some video game disappointment that was pretty bad. I can't remember what it is. I should have done my thoughts on what were my biggest disappointments. But anyway, this show ranks up there with like hands down. Like if actually I shouldn't say it's the most disappointment because I saw it coming. The moment I knew it existed was the moment that I knew I was going to be disappointed. But anyway, so let's set up another bar scene that does none of has none of the pros that the last bar scene we saw had, and most of the cons in all of the ways. But let's see how this goes. All right. Shit. So, what's happening in this scene right here? Picard. Let's get to this first scene and stop. Picks up a Romulan's only sign, throws it on the floor. Okay. Let's stop there for a quick moment. Let's just deal with the thing in front of me, what we just saw. So in the scene, we see Picard walk up to a bar that has a sign that says Romulans only on it. You might think to yourself, like, well, Thomas, like, why is that so offensive to you? Why is that such a bad moment? I'll deal with the immediate thought of number one. If you walk into a bar or any place that says you are not allowed, just walking in is a big sign of defiance. Does that make sense? Like, if I walk up to a bar and it says no goofy white dudes in tie-dye shirts allowed, I'd be like, first of all, I'd be like, is this for real? But I mean, but it's like, if it's for real and the stakes are serious, like me picking off the sign and throwing it on the ground is like a double defiance moment that doesn't need to happen. Like you could walk up to the sign, see it, and be like, tink, tink, tink. Oh, Romulans only? Make a face to the camera. Like, again, I look down. And then walk in. That's fucking defiance. Like, you don't need it's a stepping on the sign is almost like if you could say jumping the shark is like this like term. Stepping on the sign should be a term for, okay, you're like overly hammering this point of just ridiculousness. So that's number one of that scene that I hated. Number two, I'm okay with a universe where the Federation is a shit show. Again, if you know what I'm talking about, great. If not, then you probably wouldn't be watching this. I'm okay with the world of the Federation being a shit show. I guess the problem I have with the premise of this is this scene would have made more sense on Earth. Like if Romulans were, you know, fucking spoilers, fuck you. If Romulans are spread about the galaxy because their fucking star exploded and there's a Romulan bar on Earth and Picard has to go there for whatever reason to find somebody. Like, before we leave Earth, I've got to go seek somebody's assistance. And so they go to this bar. And, like, it would make more sense that he's really defiant on Earth, right? Like, he's on another planet. This is not, like, he walks into this bar, sees a Romulans only sign amongst only Romulans. Also, who else is there? Who else is there? Like, why do you need a sign that says Romulan? Like, two things. Number one, why do you need a sign that says Romulans only in a fucking Romulan refugee camp? Number one, that requires some exposition. Number two, what the fuck? Why? Like, if you have a Romulan refugee camp and you need, I don't have a second point. Sorry. I thought I had one, but I don't. But I'm going to keep going on this stupid fucking show. Sorry. I get passionate. This helps me. It's my therapy. It's how I get this out, y'all. I appreciate it. It helps me get it out. And yes, just get it out. Getting it out. This scene. Picks up the sign, throws it on the ground. They see him. He steps on it and then walks into the bar.
You're on true?
No! And then tries to pretend. Okay, let's just stop right there. Oh my God. Fucking, oh my God. I'm gonna fucking lose it in like every moment by moment. Like, hello. Like, why was he walking in that bar in the first place? And expecting to be warmly welcomed. Like, this is again where the writers of the show fucking, they wrote this like idea of a person and not a fucking what would happen in a fucking tangible existence. Walk into a bar you are not supposed to be. What happens? Not like, and again, like you'd be like, well, you know, it's Picard. He tried to save them. Maybe some people like, I don't even know, defend it. But you yourself, if you're thinking like trying to defend it, go walk into a bar that says whoever you are as a person, you're not allowed, whether it be you're going to a lesbian bar, gay bar, biker bar, whatever bar, that whatever excluded club you're, excluded person you are, if they have a sign saying you are not allowed, walk in. First of all, throw that sign on the ground and then walk in and see what happens. Again, it's not going to go well, and it's not. So Picard is either A, he knows something that we don't know, which he doesn't, or B, he's stupid, which, again, this is what my brain goes to when I see this. I'm just like, I don't think he's stupid, but what option do you give me, show? Ugh. I digress. We continue on the show. Ominous music. Angry senator slams the thing down. Guy gets up angrily. I didn't notice that before. That was the first time I noticed that. Picard sits down.
Sonny.
Yells at a waiter. They ignore him.
Hey, Sonny.
Yells at a waiter. He whispers something to his friends. Picard's like, oh, what am I going to do? All I did was kick down your fucking sign. I'm going to stop there again.
You may call me Tegomandre.
Ugh. So, he literally walks into a bar, throws a sign saying no, Romulans only, kicks it, walks in, gets treated like shit. And then, again, all of these things I'm okay with. This whole scene I'm okay with. People are like, well, Thomas, like, like it could be part of the story that you don't know. I'm like, okay, I'm okay with that, but I'm okay with a dystopian federation. I'm okay with Picard being an old, frail man. I'm okay with all these things. I need to know why. I want to know why this planet, this place, or these people are so angry at him. And we are about to get exposition dumped in the worst way possible, which is just instead of a small scene telling a small story, we have a small scene telling a big story. The Romulan Center is going to come over and tell exactly the audience what they need to understand about why this scene matters. And that's another reason why this bothers me. Again, you saw the last clip I played. It just was somebody walking in, and it was just there's no tension other than, or there's tension. There's a built-up tension in just everyone sizing everybody up. In this scene, there's no tension, and we don't know. We don't exactly know where the scene is going, but anyway, that was a little bit ranty, more than I would have liked, but I digress. Let's get on to the clip.
We met before. Once.
Have we? Forgive me.
So, okay. Here's my problem with the 3-second clip we just played. Number one, who talks to another person standing and sitting at a table? That's weird. Like, it's just not normal. Like, you walk by a bar, like, as a person who has waited on many tables, I want to leave from actually talking to people standing in front of them as quick as possible because it feels awkward. Like, if you talk to somebody when they're sitting, I don't feel comfortable with it. It feels, again, like, hey, I'm up here and you're down there, so that's me talking to you. Yeah? It feels fucking weird. So, I would have, again, recut this whole scene with Captain Romulos. Actually, no, he's Senator Romulo. Go sit down and have a nice what seems to be a normal chat. And again, this would be, because from someone who's worked in bars, some of the most terrifying conversations I've ever been in have started in bars with people who are friendly to start. Honestly, the asshole at the bar is the easiest person to deal with because I'm like, oh, you're an asshole. Get out of my face. Or it's either I know how to deal with you immediately. It's I either A, fucking deal with it until you get the fuck out of my face, or B, I'm like, oh, they're an asshole. Just feed them their whatever they need. Like, give them the cookie and get the fuck out of my face and go the fuck home. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean. You're so great. Blah, blah, blah. Get the fuck out of my face. And like, God, you see that guy who's an asshole, right? Like Marty McFly in fucking Back to the Future 3. He's an asshole. Yeah, everybody knows how to deal with one-dimensional idiots. The scary ones, and again, the scariest motherfucker you're ever going to meet in the bar is the guy that you start talking to, and he's really friendly at first. And then slowly the blocks fall, and then all of a sudden you start to see little pieces of things that scare the fuck out of you about this person, especially when you're in a fucking strange bar surrounded by strange people, and all of a sudden, and you don't have a fucking transporter, which is, again, when you make me hate the transporter, you've written yourself a terrible show. But I digress. This show doesn't know how to deal with tension. It doesn't know how to build any story. It just tells you the story, and it feeds it to you like spoon-fed Jell-O. Sorry.
It was in another lifetime. And I was another man. A Romulan senator. You can believe it.
Who cares?
I
Sorry,
had the honor
I'm
of
getting
being
angry.
present the day you addressed the Hall of State, the very embodiment of Starfleet, making such eloquent and
Again, this whole scene is meant to dress down Picard. Also, I do not like how he's standing and he's standing, which, again, in a bar, when someone's like, hey, I need to talk to you, and you're like, yes? Like, that's, these people, whoever screen wrote this scene has never been to a bar, has never seen tension. The moment you stand up in a bar is usually when the problem starts. Now we have, I would argue, this is my guess. Patrick Stewart is a stage actor. He had an input as to how the scene would go, and like they just kind of like were like, what? Oh, yeah. Great direction, Patrick. We like what you're doing with this scene. Hold on. We're ready. We'll reset. You're gonna block the. Okay, we'll reset the camera here. All right, this is where we're. Okay, and ready, rolling, click. Like that's how this scene was shot because this makes no sense. Number one, this is the way this is cut just does not build any tension to anything. There's no danger. We don't know anything that's going on other than the fact that there's a guy over here who's talking to nobody. Because when you want to be intimidating and look at somebody and fucking intimidate them, you start talking to random strangers. Because that never happens ever in a bar. Sorry. I digress.
Half of the magnanimous federation.
Who are you talking to?
Great Saint Picard.
Senator.
That makes a great trailer. The Great Saint Picard as he turns. But what does it show us, the audience? And was this show made for an audience or was it just made to cut clips?
Sound is extremely moving. I was very touched. We all were.
Again, like
there were tears in my eyes.
Here's what I don't hate about what they just showed. Sorry, it's gonna start. Oh shit! I think I broke it. We'll just go with it then.
Brought the ships.
Let's gotta get it in slow mo.
Those great big.
Oh, stop share. Oh, I don't know what I did. We'll technical difficulties and reload that shit. But yeah, but again, like when you look at the previous scene where it's just two men talking, or two people, who cares? But like, the tension is lived through the other people's eyes. Like you don't necessarily care about like what's going on, but you see the people in the background and their reaction to it being like, or just them being, you know, even when Cheyenne like there's a couple moments where like he jumps to what's going on in the room, and like it's just really interesting to see like a well shot out, well planned scene that uses camera angles and well thought out, just using the tools of the medium to tell a story with music, lighting, angles, framing. All of these things are lost on this show. Lost. And even people are like, oh, Thomas, it's never going to be TNG anymore. You just got to stop being a nerd and wishing. And I'm like, well, one of the things they did great on TNG was, again, it was a simplistic, episodic, you know, frame. Here's the Enterprise. I can even draw it for you. It's like, here's the science station, or here's the camera. Here's the science station. Here's the science station. Here's the little parabola coming from the top. Here's the captain's chair. Here's the other, like Troy's chair. Here's the thing. And then, like, here's all that happening here. But then the way they lit it, or the ready room, like, here's the desk, and then here's Picard. And then, but the way they would light it would change depending on what story they wanted to tell. And this show has none of that. It's done in, like, this, like, reboot of Hawaii Five-0. Just make it garbage. Anyway, now I'm just ranting. Sorry. I digress. And back to our clip.
As transports, we all packed and boarded the Nightingale. 5 generations.
Also wasted
moments. Siblings and spouses and children.
Wasted moments of showing like they're showing them as like, again, like you're making the Romulans out to be sympathetic people, which in the course of the show, totally okay with. And again, I feel like I said earlier, this scene would have been a way cooler story if it was on Earth, right? Like it's some Romulan settlement somewhere on Earth, which makes way more sense than some random planet that doesn't fucking matter. But I mean, again, like you could do a lot with this story, and the dystopian Federation I'm okay with. But the problem is that in the course of this, like, it's a like the dystopian Federation and these Romulans as victims have 0% to do with the plot of this show. Literally 0.0% plot is happening right now. Nothing. None of this matters. The only point of this show or this episode or this scene is to set up what's about to happen. And if you know it, you're going to know this is when I knew from the very beginning the show was going to be fucking garbage. But I digress.
Children. And the nightingale brought us here. The Vashti.
All of this, again.
We had so little time.
So, I didn't even think about that. Showing Picard there and showing this narrative happening with like no close-up on the actual person's face to show how serious he was to say it. Because I can talk over here, and I can talk over here, and I can stand up and say, friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. Or I could say, fucking friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your fucking ears. Picard. Like, it's not personal. It's, again, even how they directed this. I just wanted to tell everybody here about Picard. Because Picard's an asshole. Because Picard. And it's like, do you have beef with Picard or you just want to dress him down to the audience? Which is, exactly what they're trying to do. And I get it. That's what they were going for. But there's no tension. Sorry.
There were so many of you to save.
And so little to be expected from Starfleet.
Also annoying in the sense that, like, okay, now I'm going to time out for just my nerdness if I haven't timed out already. Like, the Romulans can't help themselves? I mean, no. Federation's fault? No, sorry.
I did everything I could.
He says that again in the show, other places too, which is annoying.
Scantle.
Trust me,
Benson.
from somebody who apologizes a lot, it's not a good trait. If you have to apologize, change your fucking behavior.
Pull up again.
My friends, also, what? Why are you mad at me? All I did was throw fucking your sign in the ground. So again, either stupid or he has a plan. That's it. The only option. Why would you be, what are you be mad at me for? No, you did this. You walked in and you got fucking the shit kicked out of you because you fucking, I'm on the lose power and I'm just saw that. I'm glad I caught that. I would have fucking been very mad if this died in the middle of this. But yeah, no, you walked in, like, look at his face. My friends, like, no, bitch, you, like, pick one. Walk in fucking tough guy, guns blazing, or two, walk in as like the quiet, I'm just here to have a drink and I defiantly came in to have a drink. You can't have both. You know what I mean? You can't have both and it's confusing. Yeah, anyway. Carry on. I grieve. Oh, fuck you. No, you don't.
Dusha.
No one asked for your pity, Picard.
And you suck too,
No
so
one asked for your
don't
help.
think I'm taking sides on this
You
shit.
and Starfleet had no understanding of Romulan ingenuity, resolve, self-sufficiency. You took advantage of us at the very moment where we doubted ourselves.
Gotta get some more tea.
Enticed us with your empty promises.
Empty
You
promises.
did everything in
Again,
your
it's
power
just
to
tell-
scatter, confuse,
This is
and
the
divide
plot.
us.
That is not
This is
so.
the plot. Yeah, we just needed a scene
I
where
promise.
Picard
you
yelled
promise.
back at somebody to do something. There's no
Give him
tension
your
in the
sword.
scene. There was no danger. Oh, wait. There was danger when the three Romulans walked up there. And then there was danger when he says, give him your sword. That was the first time we actually felt as an audience that things might go badly. They've wasted however 3-4 minutes of tension that just could have been like, oh, fuck, I didn't be real. Like, it's like, they're like, oh, wait, he could get in trouble. He could get killed. Oh, wait, give him your sword. Like, no, like, that should have been the first thing when he threw the sign on the floor. There should have been some elements of tension. And again, let's just stop this here and I'll talk about it. I would have recut this scene. Like, the Romulan Center sees Picard. And again, I would have started it with, he doesn't throw the sign on the ground because that doesn't make any fucking sense. He looks at it. like either rolls his eyes or like kind of does like this, like, all right, and walks in anyway. Because again, walking in is a sign of defiance. And then cut to the people there, see him walk in. Or like somebody like, you know, or like I guess what would a Romulan reaction be like? Like, you know, like give him a Romulan reaction. Whatever it is that makes sense for Romulans to react and be upset about, put it in there. Or you know, the angry one, you know, and then have like the Romulan senator look up, see it, what, like I am all the way to sit down, whisper something to his friends, finish his drink, and then go sit down across from Picard. Start talking to him in Romulan. Baby, baby. Picard says, I'm sorry, I can't keep up with you. And he's like, 7 years, 15 days, 4 months. How those ships on the way? And have a conversation about whatever exposition dump you needed. But again, or even started with Samantha Picard can't read, or, you know, have whatever bullshit back and forth that they need to have to get a thing to happen. But again, something that deals with their conflict of him being in that bar and transgressing that boundary would have been much better than immediately diving into this treatise on Picard being a piece of shit. Anyway, I guess I kind of touched on that in a way, but write it better. I guess that's what I'd say. Anyway, I digress.
No.
And then this where the show literally fucking, oh Jesus Christ, I can't go 2 seconds in the show without freaking the fuck out. When I saw the trailer for this show, I knew I was going to be disappointed, because why did either a Vulcan or a Romulan have a sword? It made no sense to me. It made literally, like, I lost my fucking mind, because I was like, why, in a world where if I was like, I have a phaser in my hand, my door gets broken down, I'm like, ugh. That was upsetting. Did you see that guy? He had a sword. I vaporized him. Ugh. No cleanup. It's great. Ugh. Why would you carry a sword? Ugh. It seems like I got blood all over my carpet. Why? It seems just so messy. Ugh. Why would you carry a sword? And then I was like, well, it can't be a Vulcan, because that makes no sense. But then they kind of wrote him like a Vulcan, like they thought about it and then they changed it. I'd be curious if originally it was a Vulcan and then they changed it the last second. But anyway, or at some point. But anyway, so they have a dude with a sword, and when I knew that, I was like, why are we having swords in Star Trek? Oh no. And then there was like kung fu kicks and shit, and I knew it was going to be bad. Anyway, let's just get to it. This is the moment I knew this shit was fucking stupid. Again, you asked for that, Picard. You walked into a bar, threw a sign on the ground, and then like you don't get to like be like, whoops. Like, yes, are they assholes for treating you like shit? Yes. Are you an asshole for throwing the sign on the ground? Yes. But like, you don't get, like, you don't have it both ways. Like, you should expect to be a Romulan with a sword to challenge you. Apparently, that was the decision you made that led to this, that led to that. And you as a like Patrick Stewart, you should be, this is how things go in the theater. And this is how Shakespeare resolves conflict, with swords, not phasers. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, we're about to see the next scene, which is like my literal least favorite thing. And we'll just go through it moment by moment. Action! Drama! 78-year-old Captain Picard. No.
Please, my friend.
Please, my friend. Choose to live.
Choose to live.
What the fuck line is that choose to live. Again, this is how I would have recut this scene completely. Rewinding a little bit more. Senator, Picard, again, didn't throw the sign on the floor. Would they have their conflict? It gets heated. Fucking Romulan Senator would have been cool if you see him just like pull out his disruptor, pointing at Picard, and then all of a sudden Legolas comes in, Legolas comes in, and it was like, and then says the same line. It could be, yeah, it's a good line. I like it. But it's like, please, my friends, choose to live with the sword at his neck. And then they have tension. And he kind of looks up and sees that it's Legolas. And Picard's like also shocked because he's like, oh my God, you joined me, yay. But like at that moment, it's not like, yay. It's more like, what the fuck is happening? And then there's like a Mexican standoff of like, dude with a disruptor pointed, like it's like Pulp Fiction where he's like gun pointed at Honey Bunny and fucking dude with a sword in his neck, and Picard is like standing there like, what? And that would have been a cool scene, and nobody had to die. Nobody had to die. They could have left like, let's get out of here, Picard, and you're not welcome here. And it could have had the exact same thing that just happened with no dying, because why do we need to kill somebody for no reason? But instead, at this moment, Star Trek is dead. That's Star Trek falling over with its head chopped off. Right there. Again, I just said how I would have done it, and you could have had the same shit. And you didn't need to chop off somebody's head for no reason other than to have a head chop off. That's it. That's what this show has become. Let's just chop a karate spin, chop off a dude's head for no reason. Yeah, no reason. This did not need to happen. This is just some shit that some guy made to fucking threaten someone with a, and then threaten someone with a sword. Ugh, what the fuck? And then Picard has to come in and be like, shut the fuck
The
up.
Federation has failed you all.
No, motherfucker!
I failed you all.
That dude fucking murdered someone, and you're apologizing? Like, what the fuck just happened? They should have been like, chop, head off. Even going with the scene, chop, head off. Let's get the fuck out of here. Like, that's what should have happened. Immediately. Immediately.
And the result was terrible.
Even in this bullshit ass fucking shit, I would have changed that scene with one cut. Like, all this gone.
Loss.
It's like, wait, we'll remember.
For you all.
I'll cue it up.
And I am
He's gonna
sorry.
pull out a disruptor, threaten some more people, and he's like, "You're fucking Naya. Why can't find my fucking disruptor?" Here we go.
Picard, ready for transport.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares?
Galang.
Yeah. Now he decides. Yeah, after Picard tells his long soliloquy, he's like, and fuck that guy, right? Like, oh Jesus Christ! Like in every Western of all time, it's like, shit! Fuck what? Fuck! No, that guy's like, I want to hear what he has to say. No, they just wait because you need Picard to have a moment to say some shit. Again, I would have recut that scene. Choose to live. Fucking slow ass dude, fucking kick him over, do a fucking triple spit. What?
Match for a disruptor system, boy.
And here's Thomas' cut. Boom. That's how I would have ended the scene. Right there. No, get me out of here now! And then this scene is complete bullshit. Immediately, the angriest Picard has ever been on Next Generation in the entire show series. He should be mad at that dude right now.
That man did not deserve to die.
That is like, that's like, in terms of dad anger, right there, that's, you forgot to take out the garbage, and you forgot to do the dishes, and you kind of might have let the dog shit in the den. That's how mad you are. That's like a good 5. Like, you're like mad. You're like, ooh, let me tell you how mad I am. I grab your arm. That's how mad I am. Not, you just chopped off a dude's fucking head.
What the fuck?
Yet he chose it. Fight a co-op Malat and the outcome is not in doubt.
Now you listen to me carefully. I will benefit by your skill.
He was more mad at Wesley Crusher than this fucking guy. Like, he was, not more, equally. Wesley Crusher had hubris and accidentally got a guy killed. This guy, motherfucker, chopped a head off in front of him for no reason other than he was, again, let's rewind Thomas's Wayback Machine again, and we'll finish it with this. How I would have done it. Again, same thing, walks in, sign, annoyed, gets into conflict with Senator, that's fine. Federation's a piece of shit, that's fine, don't care. There's actually good banter back and forth. There's tense moments with, like, cut-in threats of violence. Like, Picard knows, oh, I'm in trouble. Also, cuts in, Elnor's around doing something. And you can have the whole scene do the same thing, having the same purpose, with nobody dying, with the same achieved goal, with actually more exposition as to who these characters are, what Picard stands for, what Elnor stands for, and have more of a dialogue and a conversation about it. And at the end of the story, you could have Picard basically dressing down Elnor, being like, why did you threaten him? Like, was fine. He wants to yell at me. Like, what shows Picard's character more than having someone threaten violence on him and him being like, I'm good. Like, it's like, again, it's like a metaphor that going with the bar analogy. Like, if you've ever seen an old dude in a bar get threatened by some young buck, the old guy is always like, I mean, everybody watching knows that this guy's an asshole. You know what I mean? That's how that bar fight goes in real life. A bar fight with an old dude, like a 50-plus person, and a young, like, I'm trying to figure out my pecking order, usually, in my opinion, goes with the old guy getting threatened by somebody that wants to challenge his status, and the old guy, like, literally kind of does, like, the look around and be like, yeah, you're right. I'm an asshole. I'm a piece of shit. Sorry. I'm sorry, but, like, I don't even have to say I'm sorry, but I'm just like, yeah, you're right. And you kicked the shit out of me. But what does that say about you? Anyway. I don't know. That's my rant. And the two scenes of tense and anxiety don't have any bearings in reality. And again, this is my my therapy of getting over this show being as bad as it is. If you're watching this, if you've made it this far, leave a comment below. I appreciate it if you made it this far, because this is more probably about me rambling than it is about you. Anyway. Ugh. We'll get there. We'll get there. Someday we'll get Star Trek back into what it was in terms of it could be something that it used to be. Anyway, thank you to my neighbor and friend Ben. Yes! U62X is signing off on April 21st, 2020, year of our Lord. And good night.